What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about tint and if it's really worth applying tint to your overland vehicle. So up until recently, I was not a big fan of tint. As you can tell by the windows on the Land Cruiser, there is zero tint. I think there's a little bit of the factory tint that's in the back, but I usually don't put any type of tint on my car. The reason that I was never really into tint is because, one, obviously, it's illegal in California. We cannot have tint in the front windows. Number two, I believe it lowers the visibility of the front windows, especially, if I'm looking for parking or, overlanding and I can't see the rock, I'm going to scratch something up. So that really turned me off on tint. And number three, I don't think tint helps with the heat because, yes, sure, it gives you a little bit more shade when the sun is out, and especially in Southern California, the sun is always out. However, the heat inside the car, I feel like remains the same. The seats are hot, the dash is hot, everything's hot in here. So recently I found out about this new type of tint called ceramic tint. Now, not only will it give you a little bit of privacy like regular tint does, but it's also supposed to block out the heat. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I go overlanding or camping or wherever, and it's usually in the desert because we're in Southern California, there is a lot of sun. Like, as I'm sitting here, there is sun on my shirt and I can feel the heat heating up. Basically, for this video, I'm going to be comparing no tint with ceramic tint on the Land Cruiser, and I'm going to measure the temperature of the seats, the dash, the steering wheel, and just to see if it's actually worth getting tint on your rig. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video where I give you my thoughts on the tint, was it worth it, and what I would do differently if I had to do it all over again. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, and for more Land Cruiser and overland content, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's break out the temperature gauge. So right now it's roughly about 11 o'clock and it is 73 degrees in sunny California. Let's go check out the Land Cruiser interior and see how hot it is. I've got one of these little laser temperature gauges and we'll find out. So it's just been sitting in the sun all morning. I took the sunscreen off of it, the windshield thing. So let's open it up. First of all, let's check the seat where the sun is. It is 112. Okay. Now let's check the dash. 165. Okay. And let's take a look at, see if it can read the glass. The glass is only at 105. Let's do the armrest. Armrest is at 151. So let's do the steering wheel as well. What's the steering wheel say? About 120, 125? Nope, closer to 130 actually. So in general, the leather is hot, but not like burning hot yet, because today is not too hot of a day. Usually it's around like 90. But for this test, we will find out how hot the interior gets with and without tint. Alright, what's up guys? So it's been maybe about 3 to 4 days since I got the tint done, which was the last part of the video. So it turned out pretty good. I got a little bit darker than normal, I think, just because I use it off-roading a lot. So let's take a look. On the sides and the rear window, I got the same shade all around. Now you might see the rear window as being a little bit darker, but that's just because of the factory tint. So the back windows right here and the rear looks extremely dark, but well, darker than the front window because of the factory tint. On the windshield, I was able to get the almost clear ceramic tint, so you can see through there. Not a real issue, but let's take a look inside. In this shot, you can see the windshield is the lightest. Then we've got the front windows, which is 35, and then we have the rear windows, which are also 35, but have the factory tint. So in the video, it doesn't look a lot darker than stock, but it actually is, and that gives a very comfortable feeling on the inside of the Land Cruiser, and definitely a lot more privacy. Oh, one other thing that I also noticed that was a big difference is with the darker tint in the back, the fridge gets to temperature a lot faster compared to when it was just sitting in the sun before. I'm guessing that it doesn't like to be in heat, which is obvious, but it does help with cooling down your stuff in the fridge a lot faster. So in here, it definitely feels a lot cooler. You can still feel a little bit of the heat from the air. But let's see. What does that say? 102 on the seat. Let's check the armrest. 131 on the armrest. 100 on the passenger seat. Let's check the dash. Dash is 151. So definitely a little bit cooler. Let's check the steering wheel. Steering wheel is at 117. So for the tint, I believe the side was a 35%, all the way around actually. But the rear windows, like I said, a little bit darker because of the factory tint. There's like this little brownish bronze tint that was on the factory windows. The front is the almost clear. I think it lets in 85% of the light or something like that. So just barely a little bit. Now sitting here, the car's been sitting in the sun all morning. Right now it's like 11:30 or something, so just similar conditions as when I took the measurements first on the first part of the video. And the seats, they do not burn my leg. Like usually when you sit into something that's been in the sun for a while, you know how leather, it feels like it burns your leg or your arm or whatever. But just touching all the places that I normally touch, like the steering wheel, the armrests, you know, the seat itself, the lower back, and it's sitting directly in sunlight. You can definitely feel it's warm, but it doesn't burn, which is nice. Now, even for the dash, usually in Southern California, you can't touch the dash. The dash is unbelievably hot. But right now, it's like, yeah, it's warm, but you can still put your hand on it. So that's pretty cool. That is definitely pretty cool. I've driven it around for a couple days, and differences that I notice is obviously you've got a little bit more privacy with the darker tint, and also what I noticed is that you don't actually have to run the AC as high. Like the fan speed, I have it on low or maybe one higher than low, and that's it. I never have to run it at, I guess, like the high setting or even the third setting. So it's actually been really nice. Just, you know, very cool, out of the sun. It basically feels like you're driving underneath a tree the whole time, which is great. Now, I didn't get the sunroof tinted because the guy said we couldn't get access to your sunroof because of the rack and all that stuff, which is fine. I keep it closed most of the time anyways. And I did get to try it out when I went to the camping trip in Anza, which was, if you guys know, it's basically all desert. And the tint really helped out compared to like trips before where it was just clear glass. Man, like I should have done this a long time ago. So, my thoughts on the tint. If you're planning to go overlanding with your rig, with your 100 or your GX or, you know, whatever you have, I would definitely recommend to get some type of tint. Now, I know the ceramic tint is almost double the cost of the regular tint, and I believe there's a reason for that because it reflects most of the heat out, away from the car. That is probably going to be your best bet. But even if you can't, even if you don't want to spend the extra amount for the ceramic tint, at least get something. Because when you're out there in the desert, wherever you are, overlanding, there's no escape from the sun. You're just there sitting baking. And even if it's just a little bit of tint, you get a little bit of shade and it's a little bit cooler. Right now, I've been sitting in here for like, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes or so, and I don't feel my shirt burning yet. I mean, like, it is a little warm because the sun is on me directly. Like, I can feel it a little bit warm on my shirt, but it's not as bad as the beginning of the video when I told you, like, hey, like, there's some stuff burning. But, yeah, I would definitely recommend some type of tint on your overland rig. Now, of course, you want to check with your local police department or whatever and see what's actually legal. I believe some places you're allowed to have tint in the front, but not, a certain amount of tint, not too dark or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to have anything on the windshield, but it's close to clear. So I'm basically using it for the heat reflective properties on the front windshield. But yep, there it is. That is my tint comparison video, so hopefully you found it entertaining or a little bit useful. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. And for more Land Cruiser and Overland content, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.